Hi, I'm Heather.
And I'm Corinne.
And we are gathered here today for a art of processing slash whatever we feel like is business oriented kind of meeting. So thank you. I'm glad we could do this. What is there something specific that you'd like to start with, or do you want me to start with a couple of the ideas I've got?
Ooh, I always want you to go first, but let me try. Let's see. I'm like, my notes are inside, so I'm trying to see if I can reel it in. I really want to jump onto the topic of organization. And just getting daily routines, which I've been using the word ritual now. I'm noticing what words kind of click and what don't. So there's a sacredness, there's a sense of respect to my time. I think having some of these underlying ideas is very important. So I've been recognizing, like, what is my aversion? What is the resistance that's coming up? Because it's like, once I get to know about the resistance or what the issues are, what the problem is, get to know more about it and get to know it, like really try it on, feel it, explore it, ask the words why, and see what bubbles up. I find that to be, it's almost like having those concepts and having that understanding makes things so much smoother and so much better. Because once that's in me, once that's into like a knowing, like knowing for me is in the body. It's like once I understand something, it's like, download. I can recall it. I enjoy it. I incorporate it. So that to me is what integration feels like. And how I have not been giving myself a lot of that time in the past. It's just been like, try to find a solution, 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 instead of, okay, try on a solution, slow it down, let's reflect. How did that action work? Do we have to try that action for 2 weeks, maybe, to see something? A year, a day? Like, what's naturally coming up? There's so much that I did not know about ritual and routine that I feel like I'm learning from you, from my own experience, just asking people, all these workshops that I've been going to, anything that kind of like sparks my interest. And I feel like it's good timing. I try to just play with it. So today I had a creative morning workshop. I love it. Creative Mornings is for free. It's a website, and you get to sign up for any sort. And that's all it is. I think it's creativemornings.com or .org. And it's free. You get to sign up, and it's people's entrepreneurship, creativity, painting, poetry, meditation, dance, organizational skills, mental health. There are so many topics. And so this one was about creative organization. And it was really beautiful because the one thing that she said was like, most creatives, most people, we have an aversion to being super structured. And I think it's because as children, we were taught to be so structured, we weren't really allowed to play full out. And so there's this we have this backlog of play. So that needs to be addressed slowly, kind of letting the steam out in a way. That's why I'm climbing trees and wanting other people to join me and learning how to play again. And at the same time, it's also having that balance of structure. Like, I think it's coming back to the things that I've been averse to and interacting with the averse feelings. So I found that really cool. Interacting with the averse feelings is like, I don't want to. Oh, I don't want to is here. Oh, honey, it's okay. What is this little kid that's having a temper tantrum doing? Like, that's all it is. It's just a hurt part. That's the resistance. That's the resentment. That's anger. That's sad. That's like, no. And then no might have information in it. Like, I don't want to do this because I need this first. I need a nap first, or I'm hungry. You didn't listen to me right when we went up. We were supposed to go outside and touch our toes on the ground. Like, that way we get to hear more information. So that's my new listening and feeling and being with my more uncomfortable thoughts and having gratitude towards them, like the money thing, having gratitude towards it because it's giving me all this information. So with the planning process, it was like reframe, refocus, and recharge were the 3 ones. Reframe, do a brain dump. What's all the shit I need to do for next week? Refocus, try to prioritize what they are. It's like write down 3 goals, or all of your goals, write down 3 goals. Sorry, the reframe part, jumping backwards. Start, stop, and continue. Those start, stop, and continue. Those are the 3 little tidbits we can journal about. That's refocus, which is great. And then, yeah, reframe, organize. I just 3 goals for the week. And then we have adjustable, like that kind of like, oh, well, if you have a little time after, here's 3 more things we can get to. Because once we write our whole to-do list down, there's tons of shit we're not going to get it done all in 1 week, and that's okay. And then recharge is, what are you doing for rest? And recharge, what are you doing for inspiration? So to me, that means like rest and play. I'm really good at play. I'm not so good at rest. So yeah, like what I wanted to start was just getting out of bed and getting outside in the morning, and 1 hour of working on my business a day. And stop procrastination, continue what I'm doing in terms of like showing up and being kind to myself. And then my priorities, I went through all that. I got a whole like list of what I'm going to do for the week and what my top goals are. So that was really good to kind of like just prioritize that. This reminder that to be organized gives us space to play more, to be structured, even if it's just getting our mornings going, just to get the energy off right. I was trying to figure out like what comes first. Is it dealing with the brain? Is it meditation? Is that the first thing that needs to come in my day? Is it wiggling my toes? Is it drinking water? Like I have such a hard time. There's so many options for me. And so what I realized after sitting with it and playing with it and trying things on throughout the week and failing and fucking up and being like, no, it's moving. I got to get the body taken care of first. And then my mind's doing much better. I can try and meditate before that, but if I meditate afterwards, I'm like, oh, that, and the habits that roll into each other, the snowballs. Like I get up and I go, I'm going to feel so good in the middle of my walk. Ooh, it's not just afterwards. What is in the middle of my walk? What's in the middle of that activity that I'm going to enjoy, whether it's music, movement, singing, connecting with somebody else. What do I enjoy in the process of it? And that's what gets me moving. And then when I get outside, I'm like, I kind of want to run. Hey, I'm already outside. Look at that. Instead of thinking before I even get out of bed, like, I'm going to go running. That face, but like, that was a really good face. Oh, facial size. It's not, that's a bad word for it, but the facial exercises. I've been doing that and I've been like, that could be a really good short video. So I'm working on that. So I got a couple shorties coming up, but yeah. Anyway, that's what I got.
Okay. So just so you know, the way I've got it set up right now is I think that it switches back and forth between the speaker and it makes us vertical so that's a way that I'm able to, I think Passy's able to edit those into vertical videos if we want. So that's how I've set it up. And it's sort of fun because I go back now and then and see what's happening on the recording. And just now when I looked, you were going, ah. But then also the thing, you're not on screen at all until I, change it back to like side by side. So that's just a technical thing. Okay, so a couple of the things that I wanted for sure to make sure we talked about is, my question is, do you already know how to give access to art of processing to someone else? Do you know how to do that?
No.
Okay.
Other than giving the login info. That's the only way that I know how.
Okay.
Which I'm totally cool with if it's just underneath like the umbrella of whoever's working on art of processing.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot better if we gave Passy permission to the channel rather than giving her the login, because when she's like, what we run into now and then with the login is that then you need to like be at your phone and give a code. And so I'd like to minimize, that need.
That's right.
And so so we either like, it's not terribly difficult. It's just the finding the spots, right? So either we can walk through it together sometime when you're on your laptop, or I can find the article that walks step by step from YouTube, and send that. So What would your preference be?
We can totally try that right now. I think that'd be a great use of time and like figuring it out. And then we
Your
both
laptop
have
though?
that.
You have your laptop?
I can switch out my phone.
Mm.
I don't know if the video will still be here, but I can still be on Zoom at the same time.
Yeah, but
Um,
you don't have access to this particular feature on your phone. It has to be done on a computer.
ah,
Yeah.
Even if I just use the browser because I don't have the app.
Um, Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that. And so we would end up
Uh-huh.
spending a bunch of time figuring that piece out rather than
Okay.
actually accomplishing the task. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, I'd rather we either do it in our next meeting or and you be on your laptop, or I send you the article.
Okay. If you could send me the article, that'd be great. And then I'd say let's put it in for next time as well if I don't get to it during the week.
Okay.
But I love that as like a little homework right
Yeah.
there. Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so that was one. And then an update. We had talked about different ways of like setting up co-working times, whether it be together or just in general, like the way it worked, how it's really a cool idea. I have gone now to, remember I mentioned my cousin has kind of created like a super simple format for online co-working. And I did go to one of her sessions, and yeah, it's super basic. Like there's no there's no difficulty to it whatsoever. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my calendar and like pick the chunks of time that I would be willing to dedicate to a co-working, with people online. And then I'll send that out, and any that work for you, there'll be some people like yourself that I would be willing to have in person. And so, then it's just the time, and then you just let me know, do you want to come in person or do Zoom?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it could be something that, there's a handful of people I invite on a regular basis, and they come when they can come. And, but any way around it, it helps me dedicate time that I'm scheduled to be somewhere with other people doing work,
Yep.
and online is definitely my preferred place. So, so how does that sound? I mean, do you think that's something that you would maybe be interested in the next month, or is it probably further out that you'd have that kind of availability?
Oh no, depending on what time that you have, because I've been doing Focus Mate. I guess
Mhm.
there's like Focus Me, Focus Mate. There's all these things that are like online co-working.
Mhm.
So it would just depend on the time. Like
Mhm.
I've been playing with, when does my work start? When does
Mhm.
that feel like good timing? When do I have the most energy? And
Mhm.
so far it's been a little bit more towards the morning/noon.
Mhm. Me too.
So yeah, I'm okay, cool. Yeah, if you're able to, like you said, work on your calendar,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, figure out what times I
Mhm.
can join.
Mhm.
Or I can do that as well, because it's like I want to actively start getting like co-working sessions going as well.
Mhm.
Like what's on my schedule? What's my, like, one of them is just like getting up in the morning and doing a ritual.
Mhm.
Whatever that ritual is, whether it's breathing, like something that's usually a little bit different
Mhm.
than what's been on the co-working stuff. It's like, okay, you can check in, sometimes video on, video off, mute on, mic off. There's different ways to do that. But I haven't seen a lot of people doing like exercises or physical movement or somatic processing or dancing.
Mhm.
Um, so one of the things I have is a practice of somatic processing. It's about 12 minutes long. And then another one is just like a 10-minute long like meditation. Um, and oh, there's a dog rolling around. And then some stretching and movement. Like I have this wonderful little altar, and I'm just like, well, somebody else gets me out of bed better than I do right now, and that's okay. But I don't want to sit on the computer. I actually want to move around more. That feels like it comes before getting some work done. So I've been like, okay, what's the incentive? So I don't know how that sounds to you, but that could be something I pop up as well. Of just like, anybody else need to wake up at this time and want to get their morning routine going? Something sacred. I don't know. Yeah.
Um, yeah, that actually fits in really perfectly with one of the ideas that I've had. Um,
Oh, cool.
yeah, where I've noticed that maybe I'm gonna put a side by side, since we're having more of a conversation than a one person talking at once, because when we're having a conversation, I want to see both of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, an idea that I've had for a long time has been some variation of noisy yoga. And what I mean by that, um, when I'm doing yoga or I'm exercising, it's stuff is often coming up, and I'd like to be able to make noise. I'd like to be able to let it out and not be quiet, like that. I don't want to have to be quiet. And so, but I also recognize that very few people feel truly safe doing that, or even being like off script. Like it might be yoga time and it might be downward dog, but I want to do something else,
Yeah.
Well, I've long thought it would be really cool to have someone like maybe Devin, who is a trained yoga teacher, to be like, maybe she's leading or something like that, and the rest of us are silenced or in person, and again silenced, if it's whatever's on video, so that, but it'll still be clear that we're wiggling around and moving around and we're making noises, like, but without all the cacophony of everybody making noise, so yeah, I've long thought that something along those lines could be really cool. And just the pairing up for whatever the routine or the ritual or whatever it is that we want to do on a regular basis, that idea of pairing up and finding somebody who wants to do it about the same time, and you guys are willing to commit to each other for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. Like, I think that is an amazingly good idea, to utilize wherever possible, wherever it doesn't feel like it's a force, and hard to pull.
Yeah. I love the idea of noisy yoga. Oh my God. I just thought of an idea too, is in the beginning, because sometimes hearing other people get loud is really helpful to give me permission. Since I will stifle, and sometimes it's like I can't help it, so I want to, and we've both been practicing expressing that. But like, it could be a really fun way of like, okay, well, in the beginning, mic's on, everybody makes some noise, let's just hear each other, and then we could turn them off and do our own thing and just listen to somebody guide us. Right. And then at the end it's like a whole or whatever, it's like that could be really fun. But I thought of like, I do feed sometimes off of noises, and I can also get distracted by them. So I like this. This is so much fun. I think Devin would be great with it. Oh my God, Devin, please.
Yeah. It also could be a variation could be like, I don't feel shy about being noisy, so like maybe just if people just really need the inspiration, then like I'll have my microphone on and I'll make all the noises or whatever. And then when people want to, like, there's variations of ways we can do it, so I
like it. Yeah.
But yeah, I actually have an appointment with Devin this Sunday. She and I got together over a month ago when she was still in town, because she's not in town right now. And just, got to reconnect and kind of catch up. And, we'd barely talked in 2 years or more. And so that felt really good to kind of reconnect in the physical, and then she said, I'm going to be gone for a while. I'm totally cool staying in touch though. I really like that. So let's, do some online. And we both are like kind of sparked up about like, I wonder what we could co-create together,
Yay.
I'm realizing that like, I really, my favorite game to play with my friends is like, let's play school or let's play pretend, and we're going to make a brand new project, but we're doing the grown-up version, And so sometimes I know that I've had some friends get kind of frustrated where they're like, I feel like the only way you want to spend time with me is if we're like working, we're like making something. And I've realized, yeah, because that's play. That's how I want to play with my grown-up friends. And like, that's why I keep inviting people to like, what if we do this? I have this imagination. You want to do this? How could we do this? That, like, I feel like that's really where I'm coming from, is that like, hey friends, we have a couple of hours to spend together. Let's make up something that we can do.
Yeah, that's interesting. Cause it's like, I have that. I'm like a problem solver. I love problem solving. I love coming up and collaborating. And I think a lot of like my big thing is like play. Let's do silly shit. Like, I think that's my biggest feeder. And what I tend to want to do the most is just like, let's get silly. Let's be absolutely obnoxious. And that I recognize that really does feed me a lot. And so everybody's got like different variations to it.
Yeah.
Like, Yeah, like I can't be in like work on a project mode all day,
Mhm.
but I
Mhm.
also a lot of people can't be in the play mode that I'm in,
Mhm.
which is a lot. So it's like, oh, interesting, but it's really nice to be able to find that, like the way that you really enjoy playing,
Mhm.
whether people have an hour or
Mhm.
3 hours or 3 months or whatever.
Mhm.
Having that, so I'm super fucking excited because I love it. I love it. Like that creates that collaboration feeds you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you have such a beautiful, strong, not only drive but knowledge in many different aspects, from the administrative side to like how
Mhm.
things get going, to workshops, to dealing with your emotions and all the shit that comes up when you're trying to get shit done. It's like, so I think that's really beautiful. I love it. Fuck yeah.
I also feel like it's an opportunity for me to redefine what play means to me. I think unfortunately, when we use this word work, it automatically changes the whole perspective for most people.
Yeah.
And so I remember that was a big conversation why some folks has started to think instead of using the word workshop, they would use the word play shop. Because we're trying to reframe like the idea that this is drudgery or this is, stuff you put time into. It's just the play is this whole range, of options and
Yes.
opportunities. And there's silly on one end, and there's like, well, let's make art on another end, and there's let's make art by making YouTube channels. It's all play. It's all, I think it's just the way we're coming to it.
Yeah. It's interesting. As you said that, I'm just like, yeah, my connotation with like um work, or I think it's interesting. It's just like that there is something in me where I like to have some sense of just like evenness
Mm-hmm.
when there is play, where it's just like, oh, I thought of something, you think of something, like whoop, whoop, like a really fun back and forth. And sometimes I can feel uh what is it, like I'm like a little kid, like, well, I want to do what I want to do. I know
Mm-hmm.
you want to do what you want to do, but I don't know if my want is like what you want to do, and I'm frustrated, and I don't know if I could say no. And like, so that's an interesting thing that comes up for me, um, about about play. I think I know what it is. It's like if I can come to an expectation, like what type of play is it? Is it planning play? Planning play, then we can get all planning, and it's like, okay, we have some of that structure. We're creating something that's for us. And then there's intuitive play. And
Mm-hmm.
there's stuff where it's like literally whatever's coming up, and you're allowed to say, like, there's a yes and a no, and there's a thing. So I think I like that preface of
Mm-hmm.
knowing where somebody's play is at. And I never thought of that. So thank you. I just went through a whole, something's coming up for me right now. Let me explore that. I love, there is so many different types of play. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that is really cool. Yeah.
Um, so I know I wrote those things. I feel like there was other things that I wrote down that I really wanted to talk with you about, but um, let's see. Um, yeah, do you want to hear like kind of what some of the concrete things are that I've been doing kind of in the background, or I don't know if that's of interest to you, or yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Okay. So sorry, I just swallowed my spit weird all of a sudden.
Drinking water, that's a good idea. Drinking water, drinking water.
Yeah. Basically what I feel like I've been doing is really tuning into how can I make this more efficient on the back end. So because I know that I am engaging again with a YouTube training that I did last year. And a lot of it's the same, but a lot of it is also stuff that I've put into action over the past year. But the one difference is I haven't been publishing a ton of videos, right? So, but the nice thing is that I feel like on every one of the channels I'm working on, we're really there, where there's so many videos that are already approved, that are ready to go, but maybe they just need a description and tags, that would be able to have that ongoing drip of videos that starts to get viewership, right? And so it's exciting to have this validation from this training that I already respect and appreciate, reminding me that with the exception of publishing things, I'm really doing everything right with the back end stuff. So that's kind of, broader on all of the YouTube channels, but on art of processing specifically, hopefully it made sense kind of what I was doing by inviting you and Azaria to the specific Marco Polo channel. Did that make sense to you, what I was doing with that?
The HD feature made it too laggy to actually listen to your section of the video, but I saw the channel and I just uploaded a really short, oh, this is something, blah, 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 blah.
So you're saying when I used HD, you weren't able to understand me?
It just kept on, like, it had to wait to load. It had to wait to load. I was on data, not on Wi-Fi. The quality looked like it was a lot better, which was really cool. So that's just like, okay, I can't listen to your videos if they're on HD if I'm out and about.
So maybe what I need to check then is I need to check on the one thing I found out about HD is that immediately after I was done making the video, it automatically downloaded it to my phone. And I know that's not probably something that you're going to want. And so I'm gonna look and see, did the video that I made record well? And it was just, a data issue on your end, and that's why it was very choppy, or is it choppy in the actual download? So I'll check that. Okay. And then I also will compare like the actual quality level of an HD video versus a non-HD video and see if it's worth the trouble. So that's one of the examples of how I'm trying to streamline it, because within our personal channels, in our personal Marco Polos, it was, I really wanted to hear what you were saying, but I noticed that especially when you were making videos that, really were purposefully for me to hear, but also for art of processing, I was having a hard time keeping track. I was having a hard time making sure that I downloaded the right ones and uploaded, so having it all in one place, I think will help.
I think it'll make it a lot better, and it's good for practice too.
Yeah. Especially when it's ones that are more oriented towards, like, it's less about our friend, like, connection and communication. And it's more about like, this is a fabulous idea that I know you're going to appreciate too. And it might as well go on art of processing. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I had in mind for those.
Cool. Thank you for doing that. Yay.
Yeah, especially once I get Passy on there, I think it'll streamline it even better, because she can do everything except like final approval, Yeah. And so, that'll like speed it way up. She's only giving me a few hours a week right now. So it might be a little while before she has time, but that's okay. So that's one piece. Another piece is there already are quite a few art of processing videos that I know are pretty much approved, and I just need to go through them and start publishing them.
Same. That is my after hour message. I'm going to do an hour of YouTube, looking at my videos and making and whatever's ready to go up, because you already laid that out for me. So I just want to let you know that's coming afterwards.
Cool. If it's one that doesn't have a description already on it and tags and stuff, maybe rather than publishing it, maybe send it to me, so that I know to go finish that one. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah. But if you publish, great. Publish it, great. Just anytime you're doing a bunch of them, publish them at least a day or two out from each other, so they drip.
The scheduling. Yep. I like that rule. That's great. Yep. Oh, I really love the back end stuff that you've been doing. It's like, it's wow, you're doing a lot of hard stuff.
But it's really, it's still at the point where I find it really fun and interesting, but I'm also very motivated to simplify and streamline. I'm very motivated to figure out ways to delegate it. And all of that is in service of my larger plan of, making educational material on YouTube that teaches other people how to do this really basic stuff, as well as, giving this opportunity for people to learn and have a job, and people who need the work, to like match up. And, but it's these teenagers that I'm teaching, young people in their 20s that I'm teaching how to do this stuff and matching them with content creators and coaches who need their work,
I got to download.
Yeah, what's that?
Oh my God. This is like, okay. So what you just said was like the perfect little clip. And it just suddenly, it just like shot to me. I'm like, oh, duh, we're following the new framework of the future. The whole framework is this interconnectivity, this helping each other, because we already recognize through our community and our connection, like this is what we do. So I just wanted to like say that I got a huge hit right there of just
Good,
like,
good.
ooh, yeah, we're the future.
Well, and one of the ways that I recognize something important that I recognized recently is, I started my professional career in a startup. And so the very first business I ever worked for outside of college was an engineering company that developed a brand new technology that was like really mind blowing. And they developed it and they built it and they overcame all these barriers. And I was the very first like full-time employee hired by the new company that they created. And it was this whole environment of sweat equity. I did get paid for my time because I was an admin, not a, machinist, but there was still sweat equity involved, right? And then I'm willing to invest on the front end my time and energy because I know on the back end there will be a huge reward. And in this particular case, due to my sweat equity, they gave me stock options. And so when the company sold, the first check I got was like $45,000, and the second check I got was like $78,000. And so I waited a decade for that, but I got paid to do the work in the first place, and that was my job for a long time. And then years and years later, when honestly I really freaking needed some money, it just showed up. Hey, we're selling. We want to buy some of your shares back. Like that's my model. Like that's where I started. And there's aspects of that model that I'm no longer participating in, but the aspects where it's like, I'm willing to invest on the front end because I am so confident of a return eventually. And that's part of why I want to start multiple projects, because they all kind of stagger, right? And so one might take 10 years to pop off, one might take 2 years to pop off, one might take 3 months, but that's why I kind of like to do a handful of them kind of at once, because I don't know which one's gonna pop,
Yep. Hell yeah. Oh my God. So I wanted to share like the things that I was doing that I'm like spreading myself. It's like, to make money, to go ahead and support kind of the back end, the whole like, I may not make money on this for 10 years or whatever is my drafting. And I've really fine-tuned it to be either freelance or I'm going to continue with the very few clients that I have. Super, super low, very few part-time, 40 hours a month kind of thing. I want that to support me. That is my basis. Second, my art. I'm also working on the business of it. That is my fucking passion. That's there. And then third is the collaborative stuff, like what I do with you, art of processing, fine tuning how to get the back end stuff of that going. Yeah. And like get a rhythm. So I'm regularly putting stuff into it. So those are my 3 things. And then of course, self-care and all that shit on top of it. But I love it because there's so many of these little tangents that pop off and you're like, I don't know what's going to pop, but even just putting that energy into dreaming, into creating, into whatnot, whether it pops off or not, I think is also putting it in the karma train. It's like that's a giving energy that helps when we're open to receiving. That's what gets the momentum going. So I love that because you've shared with me things that have come back to you years later, multiple times, which is so fucking cool. So yeah.
And I really, because you've so clearly stated what those goals are, like I would really encourage you, if you haven't already, kind of write down some metrics that you would consider that you could compare to later. Because I'm willing to bet, because you've stated what you just did, and you've already been tracking a lot of it, you've already been paying attention to it. Now you'll probably more consistently be putting it into action the majority of this year. And by the end of this year, it will probably blow your friggin' mind, like what you've actually achieved and accomplished just by setting those intentions and those goals and continuing to kind of pay attention to them.
Perfect. Oh, I love that. Thank you for that. Adding metrics
it's always
to it.
Good to have metrics so that you don't go, can't remember. Where was I? I don't know. And you don't give yourself enough credit,
Oh, we have such a skewed sense of memory sometimes. I think it's so great to have these videos and our journals. And yes, for us tracking, even if it's not perfect. Woo! Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So let's see. I have notes on just another idea. This is just an idea seed. Just like plant a seed. So we've both said we love the flower walks. And so I've been trying to figure out like how do I how can this be an engaging and interesting video without it being too bouncy or whatever, because I just don't see myself pulling together the in-person thing real soon. And so I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out like how to kind of introduce the concept via video. And so I just
Ma-
wanted to give you that seed to think about,
I have an idea because I also want to make, I noticed this while live painting. I'm like, how do I dance and paint? This is hard to do, but I want to learn how to do it. And so the flower walks are one thing. Like I want to take, come along with me while I climb a tree. I put my phone in my mouth, like, it's like, how do I take these little clips
Yeah.
alongside? So maybe one day before
Mhm.
you head out, we meet in person and we do a flower walk. And we
yeah.
practice filming and
Yeah.
just trying out different stuff to see how it goes. Because I
Yeah.
love the idea of making it an online thing to bring people with you,
Yeah. And so I love, and I would love the idea if we now and then did do it together, because there's so many things you can do more of if someone's filming and someone else is doing stuff. But yeah, so I think that would be great. That would be a lovely introduction. And then from there, it would be like, okay, so it's Corinne's going on a flower walk with her camera and Heather's going on a flower walk with her camera, or we're going together,
We're going together with our camera.
So yeah, I would love to, do that. We can do that.
Yay. I think that'll be fun. That'll be so much fun. I love flower walks with you. Oh my God. Yeah.
And I also have been dreaming up little like silly ideas. So this really fits in the silly play category of the shrug squad idea that I was running by you, that like Azaria and I are kind of like, I don't know. And so like, just as an example, one of the little clips ideas that came into my head was around this idea of stitch and bitch. Like, are you familiar with that term?
No.
So I consider it to be an outdated term at this stage.
This is great.
But I thought it would be super funny if we all kind of dressed up like old ladies and we're on a front porch, preferably in rockers, but they don't have to be, kind of on a front porch, like sending the knit, and we're talking and we're like, this is a good old fashioned stitching, bitch. And just, we're like, it's a visualization of what I think when I hear that term, right? So
oh my God, I love
it. The title, like, this is what I think is happening when I see that term, bitch, and it's all crabby and grumpy and like backstabby and stuff. But then, then we could be like, this is what I would rather happen when we got together and we're hanging out and we're talking about stuff. And then we would do like how we wouldn't really like to talk to each other. We're still the old ladies, I'm like, so what, so it's just kind of this little skit where we're like being the grumpy old stitch and bitch ladies. And then I think I came up with a better idea, a better name, but I can't remember what it is now.
I like stitch and bitch. Oh my God, that's amazing.
And then we're like,
that's fucking amazing.
Anyway, that's just one idea. I'm just like throwing things out so that you kind of have a sense of what direction I'm going. So as new ideas come to you too, you kind of have a sense of what that is.
Totally. I'm wondering if we can do a group notes, because we have these themes that are popping up, like skits, in-person activities, and then also like I love the idea of different themes, maybe in a Google document or something.
Okay, I love that idea. Yeah.
Okay, I could put it in a Google Doc. Yeah, maybe under the article.
One column is like in person, one column is can be done on Zoom. So that, like, it's just a checkbox.
Yeah. Oh, I get lost with the formatting.
Do what you want and then I'll fix it. I'll do something fancier with it.
Yeah, if I can write down the notes and maybe some directions with it, I'm just like, this is what I was thinking. Like, I know how to bullet point it and like make it a little more clearer. So if you're able to be like, no, it formats better this way, I think you're amazing at that. So I'll start the document and then we'll play with it from there. Yay! Okay, cool.
Okay. So we're almost to time. So let's look at the calendar.
Yes.
Does next Thursday the 2nd still work for you?
I think so. Let me double check with my calendar. Let me go ahead and look at it. Oh my God, it's a January. Oh my God, no, it's a February. Yes. I have 1:30. Does that work? Perfect. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And we can do just like we did today, kind of check in earlier in the day. 1:30 still work? Yes, no, whatever.
Yes. I love it. This is perfect. And maybe we can do in person a little practice of the flower walks.
Yeah.
If you're up for that. Yeah.
Especially if we plan in advance for in person. And maybe we go back and forth, like, one time at your place and one time at my place or something like that when we do in person.
Or a cool spot in between or something. Yeah, I like it. That'd be great. We've got spots. We've got spots. Yes, we do. Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Yes. Oh, this is great. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. I'm excited for all that's going on for you too. It's super cool. And things are like, walls are being broken through and fears are being vanquished.
It's fucking crazy. I'm like, I am an artist. I guess I am an artist. Yes, I'm an artist. Aha. Oh, look, I'm selling paint. Oh shit, I'm selling paintings. So
Awesome.
yes, thank you. We got to follow our bliss, and it does not mean sometimes what we think it does. Yeah, but we're doing it. We're fucking doing it. You're doing it. I love being able to witness, even just the past 4 years. Like, wow, it's fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Crazy town.
Oh, I love you. I'm so glad. Yes, I'm gonna go pee.
Okay. Yeah. We'll talk later.
I love you so much.
Have a great rest of your day. Love you too.
Do you want to do 3 deep breaths?
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Because you remember the beginning, and I was like, yes.
I didn't know how bad you had to pee. So.
It's there, but it's like I got at least a minute. We're good. Okay. Thanks. Okay, we're gonna breath in. Oh, I want to show you.
Oh, wow. New haircut. Fancy.
I did it myself.
I look forward to seeing what it looks like down too, because I always think it looks super cool when you're shaved, but you also have it down and you can't even tell.
Here we go. Now it's going to be sneaky mode. Oh my goodness, sneaky mode.
Wow.
Look,
amazing.
I'm normal.
Fancy.
I know, look at my hair.
Wow, it's like it's light enough that it gets kind of wavy.
Yes, and then the waves drop in about 5 minutes.
Well, maybe, but you can capture that sometime. Like, I really want a real pretty picture with my hair all fancy,
And then I was like, slow motion.
And then,
bam.
Yeah, I love it. It's awesome.
Thank you. Oh.
Talk to you soon.